Hi, everybody. I want to wish you a happy Independence Day. This is the 4th of July, and celebrations are going on all across this country about how great freedoms we have, from attending parades and spending time with family and having barbecues and just
Yes.
in anticipation now of the fireworks. But you and I are celebrating this 4th of July a little different than we have in the past.
It's a lot different. I miss those grandkids running around.
Oh, I
don't
do
you?
too. I do too. It would be great to do that again soon.
Very soon.
Yeah.
So what you been doing the last 4 weeks?
I have been in a rehab facility trying to undo what I did when I fell in the kitchen a few weeks ago. And so I've got a shoulder and a hip that needs to be kind of put back in motion again. So there's a team of physical therapists that are going to do that. They're working at it, and so I got to get the left side of my body get caught up to what my right side of my body can do. So I'm in a rehab facility doing that, and we'll celebrate the improvements every day with that.
Yes, every day is new, and you're making great strides. I mean, you're blowing the physical therapist's minds, but quite frankly, you've always been my Superman. So
I'm trying.
we're so proud of you. But today we're celebrating the freedom of your being able to walk.
Yes, yes, with assist, but I'm going to work against that to get that taken care of.
Yeah.
But we've learned some things about caregiving because I've been a caregiver for about a year and a half.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And now guess what?
You helped me through several surgeries. You were and are an amazing caregiver. And I think even though I thought I was grateful, that now I am 50 times as grateful because now I'm in the other seat. And I think I told you the other day, it's easier to be in the bed than it is to be the caregiver.
You did say that.
But it's my turn to give back to you everything that you gave to me over the last year and a half. And so what I want to address with the audience today is the stress that comes on a caregiver, because you and I both experience that in different ways. And
it can put some real stress on a marriage relationship, and that's one of the things that, of course, we do every day is to take a look at that and make sure that doesn't interfere.
I remember saying to one of my couples just this last week that I was coaching that you have to build that strong foundation with Christ in the center of your marriage so that when these storms come your way, you are able to weather them, and it builds a stronger relationship. But we've seen many couples where a situation like this could actually tear them apart instead of drawing them close together. So let's talk a little bit first about the signs that a caregiver is experiencing stress.
Good idea, because they are there, and you just have to be sensitive to them. So when you see them come up, you need to be able to deal with them in an effective way.
Yeah, one of the signs is that you feel tired often, and you're either not getting enough sleep, or in some cases you could be getting too much sleep.
I can remember that when I was the caregiver for you, that I had to really guard against being tired, and when you were under the authority and the working with a therapist or a technician, that I felt that I could just relax in a chair, even though it might be in the IV lab. I could relax and get a little bit of rest in there, so that I was fresh for the long drive home and what we needed to do when we got there. So rest is really, really important to stay up on the top of your game when you're a caregiver.
It really is, and I'm experiencing the same thing now. Yours is a physical healing that's taking place, and so you physically need me from time to time, and so I'm trying to rest in between those times so that I can give you the care you need when you need it, and sometimes it's in the middle of the night. Another sign that a caregiver is stressed is losing interest in activities you used to enjoy.
Yeah, that's so important to still maintain that contact with small groups and with community, because the new normal is pretty darn abnormal at that point. So whatever bits and pieces that you can have that brings some normalcy in your life as you're a caregiver is very, very helpful.
And what the caregiver has to guard against is feeling guilty for having fun.
Yeah.
Because while you are busy rehabilitating, sometimes I don't want to go do something fun because I feel guilty that you can't join us in that activity. And yet my friends are trying to occasionally get me to engage in some activities to try and maintain a sense of normalcy.
And I
in my
encourage,
life.
and I have encouraged you to do that, that I want you to have spend time for you, because that will help on a long term, you be a better caregiver on the long haul.
Yeah, just a few hours away from it, then when you come back and you resume the caregiving, you have a new energy.
It's fresh and it looks a little different. Mm-hmm. So important.
Another one is becoming easily irritated or even angry. And my little cue for that is what I call halt.
Yes.
Okay, if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, then you have to halt and take care of those 4 things.
And that opportunity comes up because you're doing things that you've not done before. You're doing things that you didn't think you could from a physical standpoint. For instance, you were helping me get out of bed. You've not had to lift me out of bed, but you've been able to do that and help me just sit up when I haven't been able to use one of my arms. And so since you're thrust into an activity that's not normal, you have to be careful about not getting irritated when it doesn't go as you expect.
That's true. But we also have to take care of those 4 points. We could be hungry.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll skip a meal because we're busy caregiving. So it's important that you maintain 3 meals a day. And
Healthy meals. Just don't go buy fast foods and just get something on the run. You need good, healthy foods.
Exactly. And then angry, we've already addressed that. You need to make sure that you're managing that anger. Another one is loneliness. Okay, you're out of your new normal. You're the partner that you and I have been attached at the hip for 20 years. And so just being away from each other and not being able to engage in our regular activities can produce loneliness. You mentioned some of that when I was sick a year ago.
Yes. Yeah, because you were, many times, after a particularly stressful treatment where you were, many times you were really needing something, and I was trying to anticipate and stay ahead of being able to take care of your needs.
And the last one is tired, which we've already mentioned, and we have to make sure that we don't invite extra activities into our schedule during this time, because a lot of energy is going to taking care of the patient, and so we have to conserve our energy.
Sure do.
So that we don't get tired.
And another big stress indicator is feeling sad. I can remember many times when you were getting your chemo therapy that I felt sad for the way you were having to be put in a condition to get the chemo, but I knew that it was only going to last for a short time, and my job was to get you back up so that you had a smile on your face, even though it was a tough time, or to see you in IVs or things of that nature that were hurting you. So you have to be careful that sadness doesn't take over the activity, but it will happen. Expect it to happen, and just say this is the season. It'll be over with shortly.
That's true. I have feelings of sadness of watching you go through the physical therapy. Sometimes I have to leave the room because, frankly, I don't want them hurting you. And yet I know no pain, no gain. And so you have to go through that pain in order to regain the physical activity that you enjoyed in the past. But it makes me sad, to see you going through that. And of course, that's why we have other people to help you along that pathway.
So we talk about it because it's going to happen. You just have to recognize it and take it for what it is, that it is a sad situation, but tomorrow's going to be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and God is our constant source of
That's
joy,
right.
isn't He?
Boy, prayer has been so important with us during this caregiving time, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It's important for you and I to be praying for one another, and it's important that the people that that are in our inner circle, we know that they're praying for us constantly,
Yes.
for the healing. So let's talk a little bit about strategies for coping in marriage. How does this whole caregiving thing impact the marriage itself, and what can we do to make sure that our marriage stays strong in the process?
You got to stay connected. That's the number one. And even in marriages that are struggling without some kind of situation where you have to actually give care, that communication is so very, very important. Stay connected through communicating.
Yes,
And let you know if I'm hurting or if I'm just had a couple pain pills and I maybe battling more than I should, that you know that.
yeah, well, there are good times for
Yeah.
us to connect, and then there's times for us to not connect. And so you already mentioned connecting through prayer. It's important that we use our daily temperature reading, which we have taught our couples on how to
Yes.
connect emotionally by using that little tool called our DTR, and it helps us to stay connected on an emotional basis. Then spending time together. Now, we're not going to spend time together like we usually do, and so we have to become creative in the time that we spend together. You and I have become fans of watching baseball games, which in the past we didn't really have time for.
But we've been big fans of Tampa Bay Rays. Now they're doing pretty good, so we watch them and watch them frequently, and they're not far away.
How we've learned how to binge watch on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yes, and social media friends are telling us which one to watch next, But there are different things that we can do together to get through this time.
Even if we're apart, you're at home and I'm in the rehab facility. At least I'll say, hey, the Rays are on in 10 minutes, and we look, and then something we got to talk about.
Yeah, we're looking for creative ways to enjoy our relationship. And then the last one is connecting with community.
Oh boy, is that important. Is that important? I can remember looking up and seeing friends walk through that door when I was sitting there by myself and hurting. And just the fact that I got presence with friends, particularly a pastor and his wife, then that really makes the day.
Yes. Yeah, our friends have been awesome, but your friends, they want to help during times like this, and they will say, just tell me what you need. And the thing is, they really mean that, and so often we're afraid to tell people what we need because we don't want to be a burden. But if you don't communicate to your inner circle, then they can't know what it is that you do need. And our friends have been awesome. They've brought food by for, both of us to be able to enjoy. They've met transportation needs. A couple times we've needed help in going to different doctor's appointments. They've helped deliver laundry at the right time.
Yeah.
They've kept in touch with us through text messages and phone calls. And we know that our circle of friends are praying for us.
And this is a time when the schedule can get kind of upside down, and the last minute changes and things. And so there always has to be a plan B. Think about, okay, if this one doesn't go like we expect, and there's where the friends really come in. If you rely on somebody or saying, if something happens over here, will you be available to help me in plan B? So stay connected with them.
Yes.
You'll need them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So hopefully all of these things will help someone else that's going through this time of caregiving for their partner, for their parents, maybe for one of their children. It's very, very important that you keep things in balance
Yes.
during this time. So, Colonel.
Wrap it up saying, get rest, get lots of rest, because you never know when it's going to be needed. And in a 24-hour period, you're needed at strange hours of the day and night.
Yes.
And communicate. Let your
Yes.
caregiver know how you're feeling, what you need. Anticipate requirements that are coming up. But the most important thing is be rested and have the energy to be able to help.
Yes, and bathe everything in prayer.
Everything in prayer.
Yeah.
He's a great God. He can do it when it can't be done.
So, today we celebrate you. And thank you for modeling to us how to persevere.
It just gives us an opportunity to celebrate every day, because every day gets a little better, so we can stop and pause and say, this is a great day.
Well, thanks for taking the time to share with others how they can be